Florida's official nickname is the Sunshine State. The people here love to make up overzealous metaphors and symbols out of everything. The climate is very mild here. In winter, the temperature doesn't fall below 56 degrees Fahrenheit. What else could you possibly need to be happy? Yet the people here constantly complain about the weather. It's a magnet for destructive winds. So how do animals get on? Let's find out. At the same time, learn which animal thrives here, and which animal can we call the symbol of this beautiful state. We are in Florida, and it's really sunny here. It's November. The air temperature is 79 degrees Fahrenheit. It's rare to be able to explore such natural diversity in warmth and comfort, more so in winter when the local beaches are occupied by sun lovers. But the search for Florida's main animal has taken me to this stadium instead of the beach. You can see signs and symbols are everywhere. You must remember that the world-famous hockey club, the Florida Panthers, was of course named after the Florida panther, which lives in the southern forests of Florida. I really hope I get to see one. By the way, why is the club called the Panthers? It's actually a bit of a riddle. I'll get back to it later. And now we need to get a move on. People come to Florida mostly for the coastline. But many tourists here have no idea which animals they might come across while out swimming in the ocean. You already know my personal list of the cutest animals. So manatees top the list. People here, well, they must be very spiteful, because they say only a manatee's mom could love that face. I love another one I heard. A manatee looks like a kind granny with its flappers like arms and gloves, ready to embrace you. Well, I'll show them to you now, and you'll decide for yourself. We're sailing to Kings Bay, where 10 or even 20 manatees live. Okay, I'm ready to dive. This place is called Crystal River. A river of the same name runs right through it and out to the Gulf of Mexico. It's also the home of Florida's manatee, and they are protected here. Looks like an American Venice to me. By the way, you have to stick to strict speed limits here, as manatees can't hear low frequencies. They can hear people, birds, or dolphins, but boat engines don't make a sound to them, and their propellers are dangerous. This is it. We've arrived at our destination. There's gotta be some manatees here, surely. We've already seen a few from the boat. By the way, the water is warm. I thought it would be cooler. The manatees here need the water temperatures to be over 72 degrees. I think it's about 77 now. Go ahead. Oh, no, it's cold. Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Oh. I'm being too loud. I need to be really quiet not to scare the manatees away. Let's go. Manatees can live in both salt and fresh water. It depends on where there is more food for them. These giant creatures are vegetarian, by the way. They belong to the Sirenian group and are not related to predators like seals and walruses. They are related to dugongs and also sea cows, which were eaten to extinction back in the 18th century. Manatees were lucky. People started to protect at the right time. They are gigantic, slow, with small eyes, really smart and kind. I think no other creature has this look. You know, it's incredible. For me, they are the most beautiful creatures we've seen. I think we've seen 8 or 10 manatees. We definitely saw a mother with its calves. I don't know who said they are clumsy and fat. They are really graceful and swim together all the time. Well, they weren't eager to embrace us, for sure. Yet one of them touched me with its huge tail. Well, it struck me more like. Manatees surely lay claim to being called the greatest living symbol of Florida. Speaking of sea animals, this state has a very popular, though unofficial symbol. The official state reptile of Florida is the American alligator. I think it's time to meet its sharp teeth. We are in the Everglades, a tropical area in Florida. The name means this is a wetland, and that's absolutely true. And this is the Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge, which translates to Turtle River. Well, I'm hoping we'll see some here. But in fact, people come here for bird watching. And the alligators, of course. I think this is a perfect place to search for some of the living symbols of Florida. Swamps, lakes, and rivers, which stretch hundreds of kilometers. These airboats are the only means of transport around here. Tourists don't get too far. How many alligators live here approximately?
From 4 to 500 at least.
Are they scattered all around?
Maybe more, it's hard to tell. Yeah, they live across the whole territory.
Here it is, look! Can you see it? This is our first alligator. Well, in fact, the Everglades is the only place in the world where alligators and crocodiles coexist peacefully. All in all, what's the difference between them? Between crocodiles and alligators? Have you ever thought about it? Well, I understand, of course, that if a person meets this dangerous predator face to face, so to speak, they won't care if it is a crocodile or an alligator. But as natural researchers, we must find this difference. In fact, we can't see a lot from here. And of course, it would be better if the two reptiles were next to each other. If the water was salt here, we could be sure this is a crocodile. Alligators don't live in salt water. They need swamps or rivers, while crocodiles feel comfortable anywhere. Yet alligators can resist the cold much better than crocodiles. In fact, it's really curious to know who has come into its territory. What do they want from me? Well, I guess it's playing a game now. Something like, I'm not here, I'm not moving. Though usually that's the pose it would take up before an attack. As you can see, the nostrils are on the upper jaw. And it can go under the water so that only its nose is on the surface. Its nose is really wide and sort of looks like a shoe, so to speak. It's not safe at all to be sitting here. You know, these creatures jump really well. Both alligators and crocodiles can jump out of the water and drag an animal to the bottom in just seconds. That's what they do to the deer which come over here to drink water, just like me. However, Missy said that the alligators here attack people only in defense. This almost 3-meter-long alligator is not dangerous for us.
Only when people feed them regularly do they start to consider people as food. But they are wild. They haven't been fed. They are scared.
I haven't managed to touch an alligator, and this made me uneasy. But in fact, you shouldn't try to do it in the wild. Here in Florida, crocodiles and alligators are protected. And although they say these reptiles cannot be tamed, they still manage to breed them somehow. This is John, and he thinks he has more in common with alligators than with people. Well, I think, yes, I've come to the right person.
This was the smallest and the weakest hatchling. It wouldn't have survived in the wild.
Okay, can I take it?
Fine, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye, guys. Look at its teeth. Goodness.
Oh, don't put your finger too close. The secret is to put one hand from below. Put your thumb around its neck. No, like that.
I feel as if I'm touching a part of our planet's history. Alligators are peers of dinosaurs, which have survived to this day. It could have happened so that the whole world around us were crocodile-like. As 240 million years ago, the ancestors of crocodiles who lived on our planet were very diverse. But they weren't lucky. And here in Florida, I can only compare the two different descendants of fossil reptiles.
These are crocodiles, Tessie and Wally.
Aha, they look different. One has a pointed muzzle, while the other are broad muzzle. One is light and the other is dark in color. The alligator has rounded spikes, while the crocodile has sharp spikes.
The alligator's teeth are smaller and it smiles. The crocodile has bigger teeth. The crocodile, unlike the alligator, the crocodile has small pores in its jaw, which allows it to excrete the salt of the animals it eats. Thus, if it eats something big and salty, the salt is excreted, and it can digest the food. It can eat anything.
Okay. Do you think it is a symbol of Florida?
The American alligator is our state's reptile. When you think of Florida, you think of alligators, the Florida smile.
The reptile smile is false. That's why, for me, friends, the alligator won't be the symbol of Florida, though the locals think differently. By the way, here also lives the main official symbol of the whole country, depicted on the coat of arms, the bald eagle. Bald eagles build gigantic nests. Look at it. I don't know why they need such a mansion, though here in Florida it was discovered the smallest bald eagle varieties live in the biggest nest. Just imagine, 3 meters wide and 6 meters high. It even entered the Guinness Book of World Records. The bald eagle's noble appearance really inspires admiration. It mostly feeds on fish, so Florida is truly a paradise for these predators, taking into account all its bodies of water. Even hurricanes don't stop them. Well, this house has been rebuilt 3 times. The first nest was destroyed by Hurricane Charlie in 2003, the second by Irma not so long ago, and now you can see the third attempt. Bald eagles didn't exactly have the best luck with those who made them the national symbol. Firstly, they were hunted for their beautiful feathers and for sporting interest. Then people took their natural habitat and claimed that they snatched cattle and other animals from pastures and households. And in the course of agricultural development, they got poisoned by pesticides and herbicides. On June 20, 1782, after 6 years of debates, the bald eagle was finally named the symbol of America. Well, it seems there's nothing to search here. Everything has already been decided for us. But one of the founding fathers, Ben Franklin, though he voted for it, was against the bald eagle being chosen as the country's symbol. I'll tell you why. The thing is, Benjamin Franklin considered this bird to be cowardly, lazy, and socially irresponsible. Well, for example, some hawk is flying to its nest bringing food to its partner and offspring, and the bald eagle flies to it and snatches the food. Franklin wrote to his daughter, "No, a turkey is a better symbol of the country. Despite its appearance and the fact it's a little vain, it's a bird of courage." Listen, maybe Franklin was right. Let's go and look for a wild turkey. Farmers care much more about wild birds now than in the times of the founding fathers, so it should be easy enough to find them at a ranch. Of course, it's not that easy to find a wild turkey in this area. If I don't manage myself, Shane will help me. This is his ranch. The territory is vast. You can't get here by foot, and in our search for wild turkeys, we've driven quite far. Yet the birds were unwilling to show up. Yet other birds enjoyed being filmed. These birds, which look like storks, are called the white ibises. I think they've come here to drink water. What are they doing now?
They're simply feeding. They drink some water, maybe pick some leaves, some vegetation, maybe some seeds.
Sounds logical, as these are semi-aquatic birds. Does it mean the turkeys will be somewhere nearby?
Turkeys live here, among these oak trees, pine trees, and cypresses on the lake. They may have come here in the morning. I hope we'll see them from the prairies. If they aren't there, we'll go to the lake. I guess we'll be able to find some turkeys there.
They are so beautiful, these ibises.
That's true.
Okay, we'll see. They seem more beautiful than turkeys, at least. Look at these white ibises. But ibises are not here all year round, only during migration. And having seen turkeys, I've changed my opinion of them. They are much nicer than their domesticated counterparts, though their beauty might seem peculiar. This is the true endemic of the American continent, to be more precise, the Southeast, North and Central America. In fact, this is the father of the domesticated turkey as well. The natives really respected this bird, as it represented the basis, if not the main part of their meat diet. And of course, it was part of the local pantheon. Though, even this sacral significance didn't help this bird. Everyone knows that Ben Franklin was a big fan of the turkey.
The first settlers cleared the space for cultivated plants, driving turkeys away. As a result, their numbers fell. But here at this ranch, we do a lot to preserve their natural habitat. We have a lot of turkeys here, and we're proud of them.
We do have automatic feeders that we put out.
We have automatic feeders. We use them to feed the turkeys. But as we try to preserve a truly natural environment, we don't give them much. We feed them mostly to be able to watch them.
No wonder, as one of the main holidays in this country, Thanksgiving is connected with the turkey.
He wanted to make it our national symbol instead of a bald eagle. I have both of them at my ranch, and I'm proud of this fact.
After the first European settlers nearly died of hunger and cold here, they managed to get through in a year or so. And then they organized a dinner to thank God for their new life. The American Indians who had helped the settlers through these hard times brought an unusual bird for this dinner, a turkey. It's really impossible to imagine Thanksgiving in the US without a big turkey on the table. I think Shane understands what I'm talking about. Am I right?
You're right, I think.
Do you think they are beautiful?
Well, turkeys are impressive.
Turkeys are impressive. In spring, the male turkeys start gobbling. I feel that my soul is singing with them. That's what makes them so special.
I liked Shane, his family, and his ranch, of course, so much that I spent all day here. I found out that he is a true hockey fan and supports the Florida Panthers. He also told me that though wild panthers drop by his place sometimes, I don't know if that's true, he also has his own team mascot. Here it is, it's resting. It doesn't even know that we've come here. This is the rarest species of puma. They're even called the ghost of the Wild West, as it's almost impossible to come across it in the wild. Well, it used to be found across the territory of North America, but now there are about 200 species left, not more. And they live here in Florida. Apparently, this is the most famous puma in the US. It lives quietly in Miami Zoo. It was found when it was a cub. It had lost its parents and it was reared here. I could say it's tamed, though you never know. Pumas are really cunning. They hunt using an X factor, so to speak. They lie calmly, pretending not to notice anything. The prey calms down and approaches the puma. And then the puma jumps on the prey's back and breaks its spine. We're used to thinking of the panther as a big black cat. In fact, panthers are tigers, lions, jaguars, and leopards as well. Bagheera from Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book was just a black leopard. But according to zoologists, pumas are not directly related to panthers. However, we often call the puma a mountain lion, though it resembles a lion even less so than a panther. The Florida puma is a beautiful and strong animal, yet it's so rare, I don't dare to call it the state symbol. I can't help but think about the beautiful animals in Crystal River I've managed to see in their natural habitat. I remember their nice muzzles and slow, smooth moves. Manatees may not be the most elegant, but definitely very graceful creatures. Funny as it may sound, some think that manatees are related to hippos. That's not true. In fact, genetically, manatees are rather more related to elephants.
Right, they can't. Though you can see them in the shallow waters during the mating season, for example.
While escaping like manatee mating herds or something like that.
Manatees are really tender, really tender. They are single by nature, in fact. This is one of the few places in the world where they can bunch together like that. Usually they are independent animals. They form only relations between mother and calves, and that's it.
They can't go on land, right?
Yes, we protect these guys. These guys, they wouldn't hurt anyone. They are so tender. Tell me where else you could swim with a 1,600-pound animal without fear of being eaten.
Why are these clumsy animals, to put it mildly, called sirenians or mermaids? Of course, they got their name from ancient Greek mythological creatures, that's clear. These fat mammals playing in the water resembled women for seafarers. Craig thinks that sailors have always liked plump women, and from their point of view, manatees have a perfect body. Unfortunately, this failed to save manatees from people's barbaric attitude towards them.
1984, Endangered Species Act was
In 1984, they were included in the list of endangered species. We also took some action here in this field.
in Crystal River area, and
A severe punishment was introduced for any harm done to manatees.
Okay, and that was under the Endangered Species Act. That's the big stick.
Up to 5 years in prison and $25,000 fine.
So here in Crystal River,
And here in Crystal River, we set up a state park.
manatee refuge.
A manatee's life is quite calm. In fact, 8 hours a day it grazes like a cow, eating seaweed. But it uses its flappers as if they were arms. This is a harmless and truly cozy creature. It's peaceful, and this is a valuable quality in today's world. Out of all the animals I've seen this time, I think manatees are the most charming. And the main thing is that the people in Florida, like my new friend Craig, love their manatees and are proud of them. Manatees make people happy. There are not many of them, only 6,000 to 7,000. But their future looks promising, and I think that they are the real living symbol of Florida.